Today I have a direct comparison video for you. We're going to be comparing the Ruffwear Furness jacket to Glia's tried and true Hurtta Expedition Parka. Both of these coats are winter dog jackets intended for cold, under 32-degree freezing conditions, and that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So winter weather, out in the cold and the snow, and they're supposed to be good extra layers to help protect dogs from those extra chilly conditions. I find both of them are also nice for a short-coated dog in the shoulder season if you're just sitting around at a campground, not moving much, and your dog just needs a little bit more insulation than what kind of a standard thin jacket would provide. So let's take a look at the features of both of these jackets and help you decide which one is right for you and your pup. A little bit of an investment. The Hurtta Expedition Parka is retailing for around $90. It depends on the size of your dog. The Furness is retailing for closer to $130. So it is important that you know which style you prefer before purchasing, although both do have very good return policies. So definitely go ahead, order it, try it on your dog. As long as there's not dog hair, it still looks new, it still has the tags on. Both companies should take these pieces of clothing back if they don't work for you and your dog. So when you're starting to consider which one is right, there's a couple main things to be aware of. One is, how easy are these coats to get on your dog? The Furness harness is a little bit more complicated. It has this nice neck opening here, and then it has two sleeves. So I do think these sleeves help provide a little bit of extra warmth along your dog's shoulder area, but your dog does have to step through these. So when you go to put this on your dog, you're gonna unzip it. It has to slide over your dog's head. Your dog has to step through each of the little sleeves, and then you zip it up on your dog. If desired, you can also go ahead and have your dog step through these back stretchy guys that go around their thighs to help keep it in place. The Hurtta Expedition Parka, on the other hand, is a little bit more simple. This one is going to just slide over your dog's head, and then you just simply click this around their waist. And that's all you need to do. So the Expedition Parka may fit more body sizes just because it has a more movable chest piece, but both of them are fairly versatile and do have adjustment points. The Hurtta Expedition Parka adjusts here around the front of the neck piece. It adjusts here around the back of the neck piece, and it adjusts for back length as well. So there's another piece in here. There we go, that one, which is doing how long is your coat. So it kind of affects how long it is. The Furness jacket adjusts around the neck, and then it also has one that affects kind of the cinchiness of the chest area and kind of how long it gets, so you can pull on it here to adjust it a little bit smaller. In some of our previous review videos, I've shown all those adjustment points in detail on Glia, and I'll probably take a few of the video snapshots and enter them here so that you guys can see how this adjusts on her. Of adjustments, as you're ordering these coats, just know that you do measure your dog a little bit differently for each jacket. Ruffwear typically wants you to measure around the circumference of your dog's girth, and so you're gonna order it based on that sizing. The Furness jacket that I have here is a size medium. Glia normally wears a size small in the harnesses, but she's right on the bubble of the size small. the size medium. So just know that if your dog is right on the edge, you may want to size up on the Ruffwear Furness for this fit that you'll see in Glia throughout the video. The Hurtta Expedition Parka is a little bit different in that you measure based on back length. So you're going to measure from their withers to the back of their tail, and you're going to get the correct length for your dog. Now, with this length, if you have kind of a slim, slender dog like mine who's a little bit longer, you'll see that the Hurtta Expedition Parka also looks just a little bit large on Glia. That being said, the extra coverage I like because in the winter, it can get really cold here in Minnesota, and we try to hike year round. I oftentimes won't walk if it's below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Sub-zero temperatures are really hard for Glia. We'll go for just a short out of the house and around the block and back, but we won't go for long hikes. But we do hike a lot in that 0 to 32 degree range, and so having a lot of coverage helps. These can also be layered up. So Glia wears both of these jackets over her harness already, and they both do have leash portals, which is a necessity for me when it comes to a winter dog jacket. So you can attach a leash to a harness through both of these. Both of them have that, but also I can put a base layer on her. So I've handmade a kind of turtleneck setup, the long john material that she can wear underneath. She also could wear these over a fleece and over other styles of coats, as long as they don't have much of a extended sleeve, because this is where it does get a little more snug fitting in the Furness, is through the sleeve. The Hurtta Expedition Parka can go over just about anything, so that's really nice and easy and convenient if you're trying to layer up for your dog. I have noticed that not all dog jackets that are winter dog jackets come with that leash portal. So regardless of which one of these you purchase, looking for a leash portal if your dog hikes on a harness is really important. There's some really nice dog brands out there that I've been wanting to try, but Glia hikes in a harness, and I don't want to put a harness over the top of the jacket because it'll decrease kind of the puffiness and loft, and we want that layer of loft to help trap the warm air against Glia. So honestly, both of these jackets I've been really, really pleased with. And I don't think you can go wrong in picking either one. But to try to help to determine some of the differences between them, let's go through some of the different features and then also a couple of the tests that I put these jackets to out on the trail. First, we're going to go ahead and look at just a couple of the features. They have slightly different materials on the kind of outside, but both of them are water weatherproof. They both can be machine washed, but should be hung to dry. Both of them have reflective trim. I do think subjectively that the Furness has a more reflective piping. You can't really see the reflection in this video, but there's the reflective stripes there and there. The Furness also has a spot to attach the beacon light, so you can put a light attachment there. The Expedition Parka has reflective trim here, just kind of over the dog's shoulders, and then little reflective guys up along the back. I don't see this one reflect quite as much when I walk at night, but they both do have reflective trim, and cars should be able to see you coming, and you should be able to see your dog if you're trying to flashlight if they're not on leash. Both of these come in a variety of sizes. So the Ruffwear comes in 6 sizes, from extra, extra small to an extra large. That's kind of standard for Ruffwear, fits their standard line. The Hurtta Expedition Parka comes in 16 different sizes. So if you have a hard to fit dog, that might be your deciding factor right there. There's only 6 size options on the Furness, 16 on the Expedition Parka. Color-wise, the Hurtta Expedition Parka also wins out. It comes in 4 different colors. It's blackberry, bilberry, beetroot, this is beetroot, and buckthorn. So 4 colors, and so essentially it's pink, blue, I think it's like a grayish, and then a yellow kind of color. The Furness jacket comes in only 2 colors, this gray, which is twilight gray, or a red color that's called red sumac. So less color choices there. All right, so that's kind of the base features and the differences there. So I did take both of these out on the trail. Obviously, we've hiked in both of them quite a bit. I find that they're pretty interchangeable for which one I grab for when I go out to do some hiking. That being said, the Expedition Parka is easier to get on, so I do use it a little bit more than the Furness jacket, but both of them are nice and both of them are easy to bring with for a trail walk. So I went out and I tried to see how warm they were. I brought a little cooking thermometer, digital cooking thermometer, and I went ahead and stuck the probe underneath while Glia was wearing it in different spots. So we checked like the neck area and we checked through the leash porter, and then I also put the probe underneath the harness and the belly panel of the jacket. And both of them did pretty well. I've only done that test once. It was on a pretty cold day. So it would be good to repeat that a little bit to see if my numbers are still the same. The Furness jacket was a little bit warmer around the neck, which did surprise me, as I thought this bigger cowl neck would trap more air. But I also didn't have this cinched down very tight, so maybe it was just too loose and there was heat escaping. And since this is a smaller neck, I was closer to the main body of Glia when I was probing, so unsure if that made much of a difference. But I got about a 69-degree temperature on the Furness, and I got 65 on the Expedition Parka. The Expedition Parka was also a little bit colder when I checked through the leash portal. Again, it does have a bigger opening for the leash portal, so maybe more air. But I only got like 48 degrees. And again, she was wearing her harness, so it was the air pocket between the harness and the coat, not between Glia and the coat. So, but I only got about 48 degrees on the Expedition Parka and about 59 on the Furness jacket. So kind of a difference there. And then on the chest, I got about equal on both of them. So 75, 77 degrees, warmest there. And I did put my sensor between the harness and Glia on this test, so the harness was trapping a little bit of warmth as well. It was a pretty cold day out again, so I think we were -2 degrees Fahrenheit, so it was very chilly. We didn't stand around long to confirm these numbers, and I should test it again in the future. I'll let you guys know if that's updated. Well, keeping your dog warm is a very important part of these coats. Another thing that it's important to have when you have a winter dog jacket is a jacket that keeps your dog dry. It's horrible to be too cold, but it's really horrible to be wet and cold. So sometimes we go out hiking when it's threshold weather, right? It's around 32 degrees, it's sleety, it's slushy, or maybe she's wearing it in the shoulder season when it rains just a little bit and it's 39 degrees and raining. And my question was, are both of these jackets going to be good in that kind of weather? They both say they're weatherproof, but how well do they do? So I took both of these jackets and I put them in my bathtub. I hung them on hangers. I put the hanger opening through the leash portals, and I hung them on a hanger in my shower, and I sprayed them with water. And you know what? They both did wonderful. I thought that the Furness jacket was doing a lot better because the water beat it up on top of it and ran off. And now my Furness jacket is newer than my Expedition Parka. So the Furness jacket I got this last winter in 2022, and the Expedition Parka I've had since 2020. So some of the finish could be wearing off of my Expedition Parka a little bit. It has been through the wash once. But the Furness jacket went ahead and everything kind of beat it up and rolled off. The Expedition Parka, it looked like it absorbed, but none of that water was on the lining, right? So when I flipped it over afterwards, I had hung a paper towel inside to see how dry it stayed, and it stayed really dry in both of them. One of them got a little bit wet because it was touching the bottom of the shower and it whipped it up, but none of it came from the top. And then the lining of the jackets were fine and dry and no problem. So both of them did a great job being sprayed with a shower head of water for a minute or two. They did wonderful. The other thing to help me decide how much water they absorbed was I weighed them both before and after I ran the water on them. The dry weight of the Furness was about 0.78 pounds, and afterwards it was 0.93 pounds. The Expedition Parka was 1.1 pounds, and afterwards it was 1.5 pounds. So I think it did grab just a little bit more water, but again, it's older, it's been through the wash, so I don't know how much I've affected the finish. Both of the insides stayed dry though. Speaking of weight, another factor that comes into play for me when it comes to a dog jacket for Glia is how packable is it? I found that a lot of the times I do bring this Expedition Parka along on backpacking trips because Glia just needs something to keep her warm. I haven't had the Furness jacket through a backpacking season, so unsure if I'll bring it with, but I wanted to know if it was as packable as the Expedition Parka. And it turns out it's lighter and more packable. So I took two of Glia's packs. She has a Ruffwear front range pack, and she also has a Groundbird Gear size small pack. And I tried to see if I could fit the jackets into the packs. I definitely can't fit the Expedition Parka into her size small Groundbird Gear pack. It does fit just barely into the front range. The Furness jacket is a lot more packable, and I was able to get that into one of the sides of the Groundbird Gear pack. I still don't know if I'd have Glia carry that for a hike because it was tight and it really would stick out to her sides, but it did fit. And then the front range pack, it fit easily into. So a little bit more packable, a little more compressible, and a little bit more lightweight. If that matters to you, the Furness jacket was the winner there. So which jacket is right for you and your dog? Well, it's the age-old, it depends. I don't have a strong favorite here. Personally, I lean towards the Expedition Parka for two main reasons. I like the color better. It's pink. It's a pretty color. And it's easier to get on. So when I reach for a jacket to layer over things, it's just quick, right? Slides on, clip, and it's up. That being said, the Furness jacket was a little bit warmer in my testing. It repelled water just as well. It has the sleeves, which maybe keeps a little bit more warmth around the sleeves. I didn't test the sleeve warmth because the Hurtta jacket doesn't really have a sleeve, but it does add a little bit more warmth there. And it's a nice product too, especially if your dog can wear the same size harness as Ruffwear jacket. That should line up really nice and easy for you. So choose your favorite. Right now, I'm still leaning just a little bit towards that Expedition Parka, but these are both really high quality winter jackets. And if you have a short-coated dog in a winter state like Minnesota, they need a jacket like this. I didn't realize how much of a difference it would make for how warm Glia stayed while we hiked. She shivers way less in either of these jackets. And even if you have a dog with a little bit more fluff, your dog may benefit. So some dogs with longer hair still don't have much underlayer, they don't have much protection, and they can benefit from these jackets. And honestly, even a husky can benefit if it's raining, right? The huskies tend to stay pretty warm and dry without a coat all winter. They've got really thick underlayers, so dogs with good undercoating might not need much in this area, but these do still work as rain jackets. Maybe expensive rain jackets. You could probably get a rain jacket a little bit cheaper if that's all you need, but these are really high quality coats, well worth the investment if you're looking at them. So figure out which one fits your dog's best and go ahead and make a purchase. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Thanks everyone.